E-commerce is all about boxes. Click a box, ship a box, get a box. But if you're a merchant, many e-commerce solutions may leave you feeling boxed in, limited in what you can do, where you can sell, and how fast you can grow. The answer? BigCommerce, the modern, flexible platform for businesses at every stage of growth. BigCommerce's open SaaS platform combines the flexibility of open APIs with the scalability of SaaS to power businesses of all sizes and shapes, from small startups to huge enterprises. With BigCommerce, you're not stuck with one CMS, one payment provider, or one front-end experience. You get the flexibility to innovate, build, shape in the ways that make sense for you and your customers. Our platform and partners can connect everything from design to omni-channel sales and back-end management to fulfillment, giving you the power to build the best solution to modernize your business and stay ahead of competition. You don't have to worry about security, compliance, or outgrowing your current solutions. We unlock the technology so you can focus on driving sales. And if you ever have any questions or issues, we're standing by 24/7. It's time to start thinking and selling outside the box. Let us show you what BigCommerce can do.
I started Flora and Fauna in 2014 and wanted to create a retailer that just had a bit more purpose behind it and could help people make better choices. So we started in 2014, really small, we pressed the button, no one bought anything, and eventually we got some orders in and we just sort of started growing from there. And over the years, we've really had to scale and build in systems to grow with us. We've picked Dotdigital for really 3 reasons. So the first one is we moved our website to Magento, and Dotdigital integrates really well with Magento, so you can get a lot of the information such as customers, orders, all that sort of stuff across to Dotdigital. Really helps with segmenting and targeting, and it's a really easy platform to use. So me as the founder can go in and use it. I can create emails. I don't need a team of 50 to help me. It's just a really intuitive platform to use. And lastly, and very importantly, the Dotdigital team are great to work with, incredibly knowledgeable, and also just make the whole process easy. Before we started using Dotdigital, we had a really great customer base, but we weren't talking to them properly. So we were just batch and blasting emails out to them. So what Dotdigital has really helped us do is helped us focus that conversation so that we're talking to people about the right things. We're not talking to people who don't have kids about kids' products. Dot's really helped us be more creative in what we do, and it's probably something, this is where the team at Dot really help, because they tell you what you don't know. And some of the campaigns that we run around things like anniversary campaigns, our loyalty program has great campaigns attached to it. And our loyalty program has like over 70% open rate. So phenomenal, for anyone who knows about the open rate, it's a really, really great open rate. And in revenue for our automated campaigns. One of the great things that I love about both Magento and Dot is that we can capture all of our customers' data, and that through the Magento connector, that syncs over to Dotdigital. To put it really simply, if we wanted to target people who've purchased chocolate in the last 3 months, it's very easy to do that, and we can give them communication that's relevant to them. Dot really helps with our purpose and what we're trying to do. So our purpose is to help everyone make better choices. We have 10,000 products. That's a lot of choice for people. So we have to narrow down into that choice that's relevant for individuals so that we're not just throwing stuff at them. Dot really flows through our whole end-to-end experience. So we'll send an email to the customer, they'll go, that's an amazing product, and buy it. That order will flow through to us, it'll flow through to the warehouse, the team will pack it, get it shipped out, and then 14 days later, we'll say to the customer, hey, did you love that product? And send them an email and ask them if they want to review it on the website. So it really closes the whole loop, and Dotdigital, I suppose, holds our hand throughout the entire purchase cycle of a product.
Welcome everyone, good morning. Welcome to today's panel session. My name's Macy and I look after technology partnerships here at BigCommerce across the APAC region. I'll be moderating our panel today. Of course, it's all about strategies for successful e-commerce. What we're really trying to aim today is to share some latest trends that we're seeing across e-commerce, as well as marketing, of course, and provide some really good tips and tricks as well as strategies for a lot of you who are looking to improve your e-commerce strategy and business, as well as some insights around how to enhance the customer experience, which of course is part of that. So before we get into a lot of that, I'm just going to introduce the panelists that we have today who'll be speaking to those topics. First up, we have Andrew, who is the Director of Consulting at AHT Tech. He focuses on digital commerce and experience for the APAC market. Before I go on, I'm just going to ask Andrew, do you want to introduce a little bit about AHT and the services that you offer?
Yes, thanks, Macy, for your kind introduction. So as AHT Tech, we are, as an ERP and e-commerce agency, we offer various services such as ERP implementations, customization supports, as well as e-commerce website development, integration, and optimizations. So we work with a lot of business and assess their needs to bring their business online and go digital. And we select the best ERP and e-commerce fit to their needs. So we work with BigCommerce, Automatica, and Udo, and others platform to provide our expertise. We like solution experts to optimize the system to meet our client needs.
Thank you. Next up, we have a colleague of mine, Ryan, who's based out of the US. He looks after the ERP partners in our space at BigCommerce. So Ryan, we had a quick teaser at the beginning through video, but do you want to share, what BigCommerce can offer some of the merchants we have on the call today?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for having me today. And thanks for the introduction, Macy. So my name is Ryan Lee. I am the channel sales manager here at BigCommerce. Been working with BigCommerce, managing the tech partnership and also the channel sales side with our tech partner, especially on the ERP space. So, listing out Acumatica's Odoo and NetSuite as well too. Those are other strategic ERP partnership we work with. So if you have not heard BigCommerce, so BigCommerce is an open SaaS commerce platform, providing a really modern e-commerce solution for all business, all sizes, actually across from B2B and B2C. So we have a lot of customers using us, especially for e-commerce, B2B, B2C e-commerce, but also as well on the B2B side. BigCommerce has been serving 80,000 customers worldwide now, globally, across the boards, across many industries, and offering e-commerce solution, not just from the online web stores, but also from omni channels and marketplaces. So happy to be here and kind of talk to how we can provide more information for all of you viewers today.
Thanks, Ryan. And finally, we have Esther from Dotdigital, who is the partnerships manager for the Southeast Asian market. She looks after all the service agencies as well as tech and system integrator partners. So Esther, how would you describe Dotdigital in a nutshell for everyone on the call?
Hi, good morning, everyone. I'm Esther. Thank you, Macy. Okay, so in sum, Dotdigital is a customer experience data platform. We are suitable for B2B as well as B2C. So anyone that has a database size and you want to have personalized messages across to each of your target audience, Dotdigital will be perfect. So we combine marketing communication channels like email, SMS, socials like your Facebook ads, your Google ads, push notification from your mobile app. We have surveys and forms as well as live chat, all combined into one platform to help brands deliver engaging customer experience through their commerce engagements, all powered by data. Yeah, that's in sum what Dotdigital is.
Thank you. So we obviously have all the right experts on the panel today. So before we get into the questions that I have for everyone, just wanted to let everyone know that you can use the chat function on the screen for any Q&As that you might want to add. And we'll obviously look to get to it by the end of the session. But let's get stuck into it then. My first question is really for you, Ryan. It's something that probably a lot of merchants are thinking about at the moment with the economic climate and the environment that we're working in. How should merchants be thinking about digital investments like e-commerce platforms and also be looking at business costs during this particular time?
Yeah, good question. So I think when we would look at the investment in digital transformation, understanding how we can build a better tech stack to provide the great outcome and return investment. I think I look at it from both two scope of the lens, right? One is from the internal standpoint, and then the other one from the external standpoint. So internal standpoint is how do we make the right investment in automation in operation, right? So cutting down the time and the monies, reducing manual processing across different functions within the companies. So, sales and marketing and operation and inventories teams can be able to work together and even financial team. So internal investment is it's solving that for your back office operation, right? And then the other side of the coin is how can we create better experience for our clients, right? That's from the external side. So adding the right technology, investing in the right solution platform is to providing that experience for our client. And we say client here, right? So a lot of companies, B2Cs, is B2C, D2C clients. And then we have on the B2B side, right? Your wholesale buyers, your long-time partners that been doing business with you for years and years. With this time around, giving that experience for them, how can we help them, receiving more benefit for doing business with us as a company? I think that's an investment that should be made from this time around, right? So digital transformation is always great, but if we can look at those scope from both those lenses and attacking the right areas, I think that will be those investment will create a lot of return ROI for your investment.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And definitely we're seeing those who are willing to invest in digital solutions are the ones that are kind of beating their competitors in the same market, right? So I guess moving to you, Andrew, then, like what kind of pain points are you hearing from merchants, specifically in the Southeast Asian market around, back office operations, potentially like their ERP and or around e-commerce in general?
Yes, thanks, Macy. Everyone is already aware that the e-commerce bring a lot of opportunities, but at the same time, most of the customer or merchants we work with, they're also facing a lot of pain points for the operations. And usually the main reason is the operation that they build up when they start a business, and also the system that they invest on is usually doesn't originally build up for e-commerce. And that's the root cause. So come to the actual pain point. Usually there's two popular pain points that we see. Firstly, e-commerce come with many different sales channels, social, marketplace, and also their own websites. Usually in e-commerce, their product catalogs from offline channels and online channels, they face a lot of discrepancy for their product catalog. So the consistency is very important in e-commerce. Is creating a wonderful journey when the customer come to do their own shopping, and also this create like a trust or the image. So it's important to maintain a very high qualities and unify all the product formations, image, the video, the pricings, the promotions across all the sales channels. So this is a very important, but most of the customer that we work with, they have a hard time to do so because of most of the tasks they do is more like manually. And fail to do so, also creating a lot of confuse for the shoppers, and also the feeling that the product is not authentic, or create a lot of reduce the sales revenues. So in order to solve this pain point, usually like having automations or invest on the integrations, or invest on the tight integration between the ERP, their back office system with e-commerce channel is very important. So that's first pain point. The second pain point is usually the resource that they have is most like very decentralized. Like if you are the wholesales or distributors, so usually the store or the warehouse is not only your own warehouse, you also leverage on the 3PL, you also leverage on your partner warehouse or your dealer warehouse. So in order to operate a unified system to centralize all the process for all the warehouse to follow is very, very challenging, and it takes times. It's not the pain point that we can solve within a short period. It's a long period, and this is like a transformation process. So just to imagine right now, different of your warehouse or different of your partner warehouse, they have their own ERP solution, they have their own system. So the fulfillment provider, the last mile delivery partner also have their own system. So to work together, to harmonize all the function, to integrate all of that take times, but we need to plan. So our job is to have a customer to wrap off with the at ease currently and the to be, and define the timeline and the priority for each of part to ensure we reach a certain level of efficiency of all the process and the resource on the hands to tap on the existing resource to more or less meet the expectation for e-commerce. So a lot of scenario we can imagine is we can leverage on e-commerce channel, but the delivery actually coming from the retail, from the customer, the B2B2C models. So it's a lot of things that we can leverage and optimize all the resources we have on hand. So that's a pain point, but also it's an opportunity.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think definitely siloed businesses or parts of the business will create kind of long-term friction, right? So I guess moving to you, Ryan, then, like, what do you see are the benefits for merchants who can create like a seamless integration between like their back and front office, and like who are some partners that BigCommerce works with, where we do have that kind of seamless integration?
Yeah, so definitely. So just kind of piggyback on what Andrew was talking about earlier, right? So siloedness within the business function. So creating a seamless integration between the back office ERPs and then the e-commerce is extremely important. So historically and even now, a lot of clients, a lot of organizations is still running things with no integration at all. So perfect example is you might have a lot of inventories, a lot of products on your e-commerce site, and the pricings that you update every day, but that's not the inventories levels and the pricing that you would like to be reported back to your ERP system, right? And there are team members of yours that have to sit through these data and updating from both sides, and that takes a lot of time. That's reducing their productivities from doing something else. And across the line, the bottom line is that's affecting the way of you understanding and managing your own business so you can grow better, right? And having that integration between ERPs and e-commerce, especially BigCommerce, we provide integration. We have partners, and we do have integration in place with Acumatic, for instance, which is a very strong partner with us. And we have more than almost 300 joint customers now doing that with the seamless integration. We do have integration with other ERPs, such as NetSuite, it's also Odoo. Those are, we've seen a lot of adoption rate between those ERP customers too. And I think from the high levels, the most important things that businesses seeing the success and the benefit from these integration is, be able to understand, truly understand how their business is doing it, the data between that, and then the information that being synced and integrate between those two, right? So, customer record, inventories, levels, pricings, everything that help to providing a very good customer experience is important to that, right? So now you can help your customers, purchase something from online store, or you would have your customer purchasing thing on your products on marketplaces, right? Omni-channels, and all of that data now is flowing straight into the ERPs. Exactly when they're buying it, how they're buying it, what's the price that they pay for, and when it's shipped out, right? When it's pick, pack, and ship out, that information can be now sent straight to your customer. When that product is out of your warehouse, when it gets to your customer hands, that creating a very seamless integration between you and your clients, right? So the chance of your clients becoming a happy customer is much more, and which means that they will most likely be back and purchasing more from your product. So those are very subtle things that you've seen as a benefit, but I feel like a lot of companies nowadays are really looking toward that to increase that experience more and more across the line.
Yeah, no, that makes so much sense. And I think especially during, like, in this environment, data is king, right? And to really get a clear view or good data is to make sure that, your systems speak to each other. So we're going to shift gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about data as well, but more from a front-facing perspective in e-commerce, or really looking more on the marketing side. So I've got some questions for you, Esther. Maybe just as more of like a trend outlook, what are you kind of seeing in the market at the moment post-COVID amongst merchants from a marketing automation perspective?
Okay, so before we talk about post-COVID, during COVID, I think there was a surge in e-commerce. Everyone was trying to go online, trying to have that presence. Given that everybody is in lockdown, we're all staying at home. So you see everyone going online. So at that time, we see a lot of brands focusing on customer acquisition, right? About increasing their database. How do you get people to visit your website? How do you know who is visiting your website? I think that was during COVID, that was the trend. But now we're talking about post-COVID, where everybody is more or less back to normal, going out, going shopping. Then it comes down to what's trending now. It's hyper personalization. So what is hyper personalization? It is the most advanced way for brands to tailor their marketing messages to individuals, right? It's done by creating custom and targeted experience in hopes to increase the basket size and to build that customer loyalty to that brand. So right now I can say that the trend is all about customer retention. And to what Ryan just now you mentioned about using data, it's also about using data to ensure there's this seamless touch point to increase that customer experience. When you go on a website, when you visit a brand's website, you want to make sure that all the touch points are consistent. At the same time, whenever there's a click, whenever there's some, when they visit a sub page, there has to be a call to action, whether it's to buy, whether there's a pop-up that says sign up for our newsletter. These are ways where brands can use Dotdigital to actually see how they can capture customers' data, as well as to, back end, then they will think of creative ways of how they can market to these customers. Yeah, so I would say it's customer retention right now.
So yeah, I think that's definitely a hot topic right now, right? Especially in the marketing world, when, especially when people are thinking about costs or like going to the new financial year and planning. So from your point of view then, Esther, is it acquisition or is it retention that they should be focusing on?
I think that's a very good question. I really think it depends on the brand itself, right? What stage, you got to think for yourself, like what stage of your business growth are you at, right? Because each business has unique needs, objectives, circumstances. Businesses that focus on, say, one-time customer purchase. For example, if you are selling furniture online and one piece costs 40,000 USD, for example, or like mattresses. One mattress can last you like 10, 15 years, right? So lifespan of your product, then you should be focusing on customer acquisition. Yeah, but on the other hand, there are many situations in which retention should be a higher priority, because honestly, it costs 5 times more to acquire a new customer than to retain an existing one. So increasing customer retention by 5% can increase your profit by up to 95%. So the success of selling to a customer that you already have is at least 60%, while the success of getting new customers on board is just 5 to 20%. So based on that, you can see that customer acquisition is really way more expensive. You should be focusing on customer retention. But again, it's really at what business growth stage you are in and what kind of products that you are in. And then you decide, okay, at this stage, we are new to online, let's focus on acquisition. Then, of course, always have this strategy to plan how can you consistently improve your website to increase that customer engagement. And then that's where Onet or Andrew's team can come in to help to map out that whole digital transformation that you want for your e-commerce. And then you plug in Dotdigital, where you can help in your marketing messages out there. So I would say it depends, but of course, just remember that customer acquisition, it's a little bit more pricier than retention. So focus on your retention, because these are the customers that already know your brand, that have already probably engaged or bought something from you. So right now it's about getting them back and re-engaging them, reigniting that conversation or that touch point that you have, so that they keep coming back. Yeah.
Those stats are definitely very interesting. And I guess, like, irrespective of which path the merchant takes, what are some strategies, tips, or tricks that you can share around how they can determine the best channel for customer engagement?
Okay, then I would say that the first one, whether it's acquisition or retention, that's really depend on the business growth stage. But right now, which is the best channel for customer engagement? I would say really depends on the customer's life cycle, right? At what stage are your audience interacting with your website? And you need to determine that through target segmentation, right? So emphasizing knowing your customers is really important, and segmentizing your audiences will help you to determine like what is their buying behavior, how are they interacting with your websites, are these people that are interacting on your websites your champion customers, or are they new to your website that you need more nurturing, and you need to grow that, you need to give them more love and tender attention. So then you're able to determine how you want to engage them before even thinking which channel to engage them. But then again, it's also very important as brands to ask your clients. I think a lot of brands out there assume this is what their target customer wants, but never assume. Always have, engage them, do a survey, drop them an email to ask them about how they prefer to be engaged with you, whether do they prefer Zalo, or they prefer WhatsApp, email, or SMS, or even dropping in the store. From there, you get more feedback from your customers, and then you can determine what's the best channel to engage them. So to me, I think the best advice is always ask your customers, never be shy to drop them a survey, a quick one. It can be rating, or it can be a one question, but always make sure that you're always engaging them to find out what is the best way they prefer to engage with your brand. Because, for example, if I could be engaging differently. For example, like if I buy my groceries online, I prefer it to be WhatsApp. But if let's say if I'm buying a bag or a shoe or something more of a retail e-commerce, probably I want an email, right? So ask your clients.
Yeah, and I think a lot of what you've just said, really underpins the fact that you need data to effectively be able to get into that, understand who your customer is, how to segment them, all that.
100%.
So I guess, how would you recommend businesses to leverage data to essentially understand when and where to engage their customers?
You definitely need a tool, right? You can do it manually. You can pull out whether it's from your POS system, or you can go online and ask questions and you collate all the results yourself manually, but it's going to be a very tedious task, right? Given the lean manpower, we are always complaining our team is too small. It's never ending work. So with that kind of lean manpower that you have to think, how can you automate all these administrative processes, right? Administrative can be all the way to reporting. Whether you want to know your customer as a small business, you just want to see some reports and understand your customers, all the way to big, large enterprises where they work as a team, and they need to generate, quarterly reports. All these should be automated so that you can concentrate on the strategy work. So at Dotdigital, we are a one-click plugin to BigCommerce, and we are so easy to use. That's why we work very closely with Andrew's team as well. With just one click, we sync with the online store and we pull out all the customers' data into Dotdigital. Let the system's AI and predictive analysis run behind as an engine for you to get reports instantly, or by using our dashboard, you'll be able to understand how your customers are interacting with your site. And then that will let you to deep dive into each customer segments so that you can speak to them at whatever channels that they prefer to be spoken to. So I would say, how to leverage on data, use a good tool. Tools should not be difficult to understand or use. It should be very, very user friendly. And then all these data at the back. For Dotdigital, we use this model called ERFM. RFM stands for recency, frequency, and monetary. So back end, from this three matrix, we understand how the customers interact or buy on your website, and give you full access to how you can actually use all these data to come up with creative campaigns to target them. Yeah, so I can say how to leverage is to use a good tool.
Thanks, Esther. Great tips. So I guess now we've talked about, back end or back office from an online perspective. We've dived now into the front facing part of an e-commerce world. Andrew, I have a question for you. What we see in Asia quite a lot is offline and traditional brick and mortar. What do you see are like the customer expectations when it comes to e-commerce, and how does that kind of differ in the Asian markets?
Yeah, I mean, it's, right now everyone know that the demand from a consumer is getting more and more. Of course, we want to buy the product as our own time, our own way. Interaction, is a more personalized, omni-channels approach. However, one of the things we realize is that as a consumer ourselves, we love to interact directly with the brands, the brand owners. Like even we buy the certain products from the retailers, but the reason we buy it because we like certain brands. So so this is a thing that I think the expectation of the customer is not only to buy the product, they want experience, they want interaction with the brands, and that's where the brand owners, and usually we work with them, we would like them to rethink about it and take advantages of this shift toward online retails. So so that's my input for these questions.
Thank you. And so I now have a question that's kind of for everyone in the panel. When it comes to your technology stack or the solutions they've deployed within their business, what are some of the challenges or opportunities that you guys see in each of your respective parts of the e-commerce world? Maybe Ryan, I'll start over with you.
Yeah, so I kind of want to bring it back to what Andrew was saying something earlier that kind of has a great interest, right? Which is how can we take advantage of shifting more online retails models, but then be able to still maintaining that brick and mortar feels for your customer experience, right? So as I was mentioning earlier, COVID, the pandemics, that I feel that times really put everyone perspective. If e-commerce now is it's not a what if, it's actually a when, right? It's not an if anymore, but it's become a when now, right? So, and now coming out of COVID, we are, as a consumer, myself too, right? I like to go to the store. I know these stores have online stores that I can buy these things, right? It's a fashion, clothing, sport equipment, furnitures, whatsoever, right? You can get it from the store online, but you want to go and the touch and the feels and the experience, being in the store is completely different, right? So now these company, this brand, what they really need to understand, this organization, right? What they really need to understand is how can we really have to transform that whole entire experience as a flow, right? Which means that, things that, buy online, pick up in store has to be as a strategy now. Pricing point, right? We have to understand that customer would go into the store, they like something, but they might go home and then see a better pricing online, right? Those things have to be extremely aligned to each other's. Have a good understanding of inventories, have a good understanding how your products is getting in front of your customer, right? This is going back to my point earlier of, nowadays e-commerce is not just you go to a website of that store and buying things, but also marketplaces, right? Marketplace here in the United States is Amazon and eBay and Target and Walmart. And I think similarly in the Asia Pacifics, we have, a lot of stores like Lazada, we have Shopee, we have all these online services that, your products. I mean, the factors that determine you winnings or losing a customers, it's how fast you can bring your product in front of them onto the marketplace, right? And that could, as a consumer, it takes a few seconds. If they're Googling things and they see that products and it pops right in front of them, it's with the right pricing. And if you are the companies who bring that product in front of them, you win. So that whole entire things, it's all about bringing the best experience to your customers. And I think providing the right solution for your tech stack that can help you be able to do that, right? Whether it's BigCommerce for e-commerce, whether it's a great ERP system behind you to support you do that, and then even including Dotdigital, right? From the marketing standpoint, understanding that customer journeys. So all of those are, I think it's a great opportunities for all of the companies now in Asia Pacific to look at that as a those are the challenges, but also an opportunity to fix those challenges to build a better experience, right? The last thing I would add, and this is becoming more and more relevant now that I'm seeing across the board, is how to transform B2B business, right? I can talk very quickly on this side of B2Bs. So when we think of e-commerce, right? When we think of buying online, automating that buying process, majority of the time we think of B2Cs, direct-to-consumer branding, right? Direct-to-consumer products. But a lot of companies now, especially in Asia too, that B2B is now becoming, the experience of B2B is just as important, right? You are going to have the partners and the buyers that have been doing business with you for years and years and years, and they know you know them, right? But instead for a phone calls every day, every week, instead for multiple emails, you can now think of a way of, digitalize that experience, creating a B2B web stores, and they can now go in, seeing the price that they are paying, even sometimes better, the catalog that you're creating for them, right? And all of that can be done through a click of a button now, right? So from 30 minutes conversation can be down to 5 minutes, right? And you have a better track records of what they do and how they buy from your sites, right? And all of that can now be done with web commerce, with e-commerce, with BigCommerce, right? So think of that. Think the B2C journeys, but also think of the B2B journey, right? So if you be able to create those experiences are, you know, fast and familiar, similar, then I think you have a very good use case of understanding the ROI from your investment from the technology standpoint.
Amazing. I might handle over to Esther, what you're seeing on your side.
The challenges. Okay, let me start with challenges. I think there's a lot of misconception about marketing automation and when to use it, right? When you go online, when you start a brand on your new brand.com, I think the misconception here is that everyone starts throwing money at SEOs and SEMs. Throw it at Facebook, Google, Zalo, kind of like you just want your brand name to go out. And you don't realize that you're spending a lot of money targeting everybody, and that shouldn't be the case. Investing in a marketing automation tool allows you to understand the customer journey, as what Ryan has mentioned. I think that's way more important, to understand how your customers are interacting with you so that you can do smart targeting, right? And don't waste your dollar by batch and blast, by sending out everything. So it's about investing intelligently, and marketing automation. It's all the misconceptions is the challenges is always at the back of a digital transformation mapping. But now slowly brands are understanding the importance of investing in marketing automation so that it helps in that messaging. Because now if you don't personalize that message, people are pampered, right? When you shop online, when I'm shop online, we are also pampered in the way how we are being treated by brands. So right now is if I see a hi Esther, here is a special discount code for you, I'll be more inclined to click on that email rather than a generic one. So really understanding your customers through marketing automation is key. And on top of that, the challenge here is people think that, oh, if I adopt marketing automation, I need to be a techie, right? I need to be able to know a lot about tech before I can start using marketing automation. That's not the case, right? A good solution out there should allow you to create smart segments, run good, effective marketing campaigns, but more importantly, help you to measure and optimize your marketing efforts at ease. There shouldn't be much of a learning curve, right? And also investments. You don't need to spend a lot of money to integrate a marketing automation platform. It should be within, as I've mentioned just now, at your business growth. There are many different kind of marketing automation solutions out there, cheap ones all the way to really expensive ones. But of course, with price, there's also the functionality and how powerful the engines can be behind the marketing automation platform. So I really say that the challenge here, it's really about knowing the value of marketing automation and how it can help you in increasing your customer database size as well as increasing that loyalty database that you're looking at. Yeah, hope that makes sense.
That's amazing. And Andrew, over to you.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not so much into, you know, like a functionality or technical part, because I believe Ryan and Esther will cover that. So I'll be covering more on the business side. So so some challenges when, you know, some of the retailers or brand owners, when they embark on this this digital or e-commerce journey. So the challenge always the first step, you know, like for the first 6 months of a year or 5 months of years. So a lot of questions that I receive from my customer is that why should I invest my potential customer is that why should I invest? I direct my investment toward the online channel, not on offline, while it's past COVID period. So it's actually the investment decisions to invest on a certain channels. And if your online revenue is zero, it's very challenged to take a leap to innovate and take on the online journeys. So we need to look at the benefit of it. So I can say for even the retailers, you already have the customer database on your hands through your loyalty program or sit on your POS system. But if you are brand owners, you rely on sales through your distribution network, your wholesales. You don't have a lot of data on your hands to know where direct your business on the futures. So I think a lot of benefit I will share later through the opportunity part that the brand owners and the retailers, they should know when to take a first step to invest on online journeys. So the challenge for me is always like when to take a first step and how much to invest on a certain on the first step and what's the result that you expecting. So ROI part of that. So we work closely with the retailers or the brand owners to understand the unique problems, understand the unique situations, to advise them where they will start with, to build up the online to offline journey or offline to online journey, to make the investment worthwhile. It's not like throwing the whole chunk of money and then expect the result to be immediately. It doesn't really be realistic in that sense, but we still expecting some return on investment on a short term or the long term aspects. So that's where we come in to work with you guys for the e-commerce strategy.
Amazing, thank you. So I guess I only have one last question for everyone on the panel today, which is what's kind of the key takeaway you want the audience to walk away with? What's kind of the last point you want to impart or tip that you'd like to impart with? We've gone through quite a few different topics now throughout the panel. So I might hand over to Ryan for your last point.
Yeah, so I think if anything that we've covered today, key takeaway for me to everybody, to all the brand owners or the retailers out there is understand your strategy and find a platform, that the right platform that can, and the partners that can help you see that return on investment, right? And then be able to navigate your business through the changes in the market, through the consumer trend, makes your business more of a future proof through whatever it might go into in the future, right? So I think that is the biggest takeaway. It's understand what you're doing today as a business, how technology and platform can help that, automate that, reduce your spending and manual process to produce more productivities. Is the biggest. It's going to bring you the biggest benefit and the biggest change to your business.
Perfect. Hester? Oh, you're
For
on mute.
me, for me is personalizing that customer message, right? I think that's very important right now, is to understand your customer journey before you can even think of creative ways to engage them. So always remember that you need to spend time to understand your customers, how they want to be interacting with your brand, how they want to be engaging, how they actually want to purchase things from your brand, whether they want to go to a store, but they want to go online to buy it. The entire customer journey is something that you should be investing a lot to understand, so that you can make sure that they have a good experience with your website and therefore your brand. So personalizing that customer journey to your different target segments, it's very, very important to keep in touch, as well as to keep relevant in this very highly competitive landscape where everyone is online, where everyone is more or less doing the same marketing. So how can you be on top of that? How can you be the one that trailblaze new ideas or bring in new things for your site? Is actually knowing your customers very well. So I would say personalization is the key takeaway. And how you can do that. If you're keen, reach out to me at Dotdigital on LinkedIn. Feel free, because for Dotdigital, we actually have this thing called Hitting the Mark report, where we look through your entire website and see where are the gaps. And then we'll help you to plug in the gaps. And this is FOC, right? It's really about helping you guys to identify where in your entire customer journey you can improve. So yeah, personalization of your customer journey. It's important.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, for me, is the key takeaway for me is how to, you know, for business owner to leverage on existing technology, to use the technology to use that as a differentiator. So leverage on what is there on the technology to differentiate your business. And for me, the main focus should be focused on the customer experience. So which means that we need to understand the customer faster and then act on the situation faster. So once we understand that, how we're going to act, how we're going to react to the situation faster. So understand the customer better and then act on that and leverage on the technology to do that, not only on the human. I believe most of business will do that on based on manual, based on the marketing people, based on the sales, but how to automate it. So leverage on technology to automate the customer experience.
Right. Well, that's kind of the end of the questions that I had for the panelists today. We do have a few questions coming from the audience, so I might just read out a few of them, and feel free to obviously jump in if you've got an answer. So one of the questions from Sam is that, is there an example merchant that has done well with Acumatica and BigCommerce? Maybe Ryan, that you should take that one.
Yeah. Like I mentioned, we have a couple hundred joint customers, but we do have a couple of one that stand out the most, right? And then these are early adopters between, that the journeys that I was mentioning between, leveraging solution that has great integration to each other's. Here is Acumatica as an ERP and BigCommerce as an e-commerce platform, right? If you guys want to look up in custom teas and saddleback letters. So those two customers are joint customer between BigCommerce and Acumatica now. There's the similarity between these two is they are producing, one is bags and one is a t-shirt. So fashion in that area. They have a lot of customization that need to done for each of the customer that and sign up for these contracts. So to get the shirt right with the names. Need from the backs, right? They can do embroideries and everything's on customization. And the biggest challenge for those guys is understanding their inventories, understanding where and how this stuff is gonna going from the manufacturers and then get distributed out to the customers. And using e-commerce as the ways to do managing both B2C customers. You have shopper to go in, buy a bag or buy a t-shirt, but then you are having B2B customers when these guys are ordering in a large amount of orders. So have that really good understanding of those really help these guys. And I think both of those customers, both of those clients that we joint client together, they've seen increase in revenue at 120% right away in the next annual cycles after adopting Acumatica and BigCommerce. And also besides the increase in revenues, they've seen a whopping of like 78% on their customer retention. So, go back to what Esther was mentioning too, right? If they have the right path, increase in revenue is always the first thing you look at. But the second thing is retention of customer it's just as important. So those are the two examples I have that done really well between Acumatica and BigCommerce.
Right. Another question that we've got here, probably for you, Esther. How can businesses balance between being attentive and overbearing in their communications with customers?
Good question. Let me think about it. overbearing versus being effective, right? I would say, going back to my point of understanding the customers through, let's say, feedback. Always understand how they want to be engaging with your brand. So a good example I can think of giving you guys a use case will be this airport that that uses Dotdigital. It's really smart of them. Whenever you go to an airport, before you fly off or before you go to the airport, they send you a survey, and the survey asks you, why are you going to the airport? Are you usually going to the airport because you are traveling for work, or you're traveling for vacation, or you're there to pick up your friends or send them off? So, and then how are you traveling to the airport? Are you do you drive? Do you take a taxi? Do you take the public transport? Do you take the train? And how many people do you travel with? Do you usually go alone for your work trips, or are you traveling with a family of 4? So these are fun, interesting questions that they ask before you travel to the airport, and they collect this sort of data, right? And then what they do at the back end is, and below they will always ask you, like, how do you want to be contacted, or how do you want to be reached out to? Do you prefer SMS, email, or chat, or social media? And when you click those, these are the information that feeds back to the brand itself. And behind the scenes, that's where they run fun campaigns. And then it wouldn't be overbearing, right? Because once you do a batch and blast to every single people, that becomes really boring. But for the airport, what they do is that they will send you, oh, so for example, Miss Macy, we realize that you always go for work trips. Let me send you a VIP access to our, our lounge. And then that's where you get to experience, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is so different. Okay, I love it. So it really depends on um, how you want to engage. I would say use surveys and forms in one of our features to get to know people, how they want, how they are engaging with you. Back to what I've always been emphasizing, how you want to engage with your customers. And also another brand that I can think of is, so, okay, not a brand, but this is how Dotdigital works. For example, if you buy something online, right? And then you check out, you say, okay, I bought it for $50. And then when you close your browser, 2 hours later, you open and you start seeing Facebook ads or Google ads giving you a 20% discount on the same item that you're buying. How would that feel? You feel angry. You feel like you feel frustrated. I just bought it at a retail $50, and now you're telling me you're giving me a 20% discount. So to avoid such bad experience, it's always good to look at a tool that can help you to segment. Okay, Esther has bought, so let's redraw her from whatever SEO or SEM that we are pushing out. And that's the power of Dotdigital, where you can, where can you effectively use your marketing dollar, and how can you speak to the people that have already bought? You can exclude them, send them a thank you message for buying from us. We hope to hear from you again, and please leave a review on the product itself. So it's ensuring that the entire customer journey is smooth and nice, so that it's not distasteful. So I hope I answered the question by, segregating the batch and blast versus the really personalizing the entire customer journey.
I
I
think that's
travel. I travel all the time, and I never get any VIPs. So my airport would need to use Dotdigital for that.
Yes. And you're in the US, right? So the airport that we're working with is based in Australia. So I thought that was a very good use case of how they interact with people, and I love that. I love telling that story.
Well, US airport can up the game a little more now.
Oh, definitely.
Well, I think that comes to the end of our session today. I mean, we talked a lot. We talked about data. We talked about, the importance of, your systems speaking to each other to get a clearer picture of data, really empowering businesses to make the right decisions for the long term using that data as well. So definitely quite a lot that we talked through today. The AHT team has put through emails in the chat. So if you do have any questions for anyone in the panel and or for, AHT in general, feel free to reach out with that email that's been provided. But otherwise, thank you so much, everyone, for your time. We really appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we will hopefully chat to you soon. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.